I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It took us this long to record one, but I mean, I'm glad we're getting this done. Excited to kind of get your story out there and kind of let everybody see what you've got going on and how you kind of got to where you are right now. So I guess I'll just kind of let you take it away. Just like tell everybody who you are, what you do, and yeah, we'll start running with that.
Yeah, so um I'm SWERVO. I'm 19 and I produce music. I make beats and I'm also a loop maker. So I be making loops and sending people loops and things of that nature. And I also have a YouTube channel, so I do content for my YouTube channel, tutorials and things of that nature. Um I'm from South Carolina, born and raised. I've been here all my life. Grew up in the country. Grew up in the country. And now I live in the city. So
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, and so and honestly, I don't even know this answer. Like, how did you start? How did you get into music? How did that all start for you?
I would really have to say honestly, it first started when I was like a baby.
Hmm.
Like when I was a baby, or at least when I was a toddler, I was able to walk, not talk, but I used to like bang on things, like bang on the table, kind of like making beats, but they weren't like rhythmically put together. They didn't make sense, but I would just bang on stuff. I just like to beat on stuff. So my parents got me a drum set, in which I tore it up because I didn't know what I was doing. So
Hmm.
I ended up breaking it, um, or whatever. And after that, as I began to grow older, I uh I started learning piano. My grandmother is like known, she's like famous for piano, like where I'm at. Like she be playing at like a bunch of different churches and venues and stuff like that. Like she's got multiple awards and all that stuff. So she actually lived up the street from me down the country. She lived like right up the street. Like so we'll go there and I would take piano lessons from her. So she taught me like the basics of piano. And eventually I got tired. Being at the age I was, um, I was too lazy to practice.
Hmm.
So I ended up quitting piano lessons because I just didn't want to practice. Because when you're taking piano for like seriously, you gotta do it. It's kind of like saying doing beats, you gotta do it like every day, day in, day out. Or with anything that you're trying to get good at, basketball, sports, whatever. And so I ended up quitting that and I was like, I still want to play. So I kind of like just, watch YouTube videos, just trying to learn on my own. Um, and at that time, then I started playing drums for my church I was attending. So I was playing drums there, going to practice, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, I'll just say when I first started getting into producing music is in 2015.
Okay.
2015. So the thing is, being that my dad is a pastor or whatever, my dad's a pastor, so I'm a preacher's kid.
Hmm.
I had a more sheltered life in terms of like the exposure to like everything. So like I didn't listen to rap music like until like 20 really really 2016.
Okay.
Like late 2015, early 2016. That's when I really started listening to rap music, like for real. Like, because all that time I had been listening to gospel, really just gospel music, like gospel, like word Christian religious music,
Yeah.
whatever. So I started listening to, I want to say it was the Migos. They dropped their album called Culture, the first Culture album. And I'm pretty sure it dropped in 2017. Pretty sure.
Okay.
I want to say 2017. Um, but when I started listening to rap music, or okay, let me just say this: I already loved music.
Hmm.
Like if you play a song and it's just the way it makes you feel or whatever, just playing songs in the car, just listening to songs. Like I would have drum beats in my head. Like I would be drumming, or if I would ever go somewhere, I would just be like imagine myself drumming. Just like it was just like in me or something, you know what I'm saying? So moving forward, when I first started listening, I started listening to Future, started listening to the Migos, a little bit of Gucci Mane, and then a lot of Drake.
Okay.
I didn't really know like a lot of rappers, 'cause, you know what I'm saying, I was new, so I didn't really, everybody else kind of knew, you know, who was who. I didn't really know who was who. I'm new to the space,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
So
saying?
what caused that transition for you though, right? Like what switch flipped, if that makes sense, you know?
Well, so even though I was quote unquote sheltered, you know what I'm saying, I still had cousins
Yep.
who listened to the music, that was prevalent, or modern music or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I still had exposure to it, but it was minimum exposure.
Hmm.
But but of course I do love like certain gospel music, like it hit like certain like Mary them group, like they have like more of contemporary style, like that
Or even like Kirk Franklin, right? I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but like just the groovy type stuff, like that really got me. I
Hmm.
mean, it just I started before that transition into that, I was listening to Christian rappers.
Hmm. Okay.
So I would listen to Christian rappers like what's his name? Tripoli and Lecrae. Lecrae especially. My dad had got the CD of one of Lecrae's mixtapes called like Church Clothes or something. And like it was like modern beats, and he was rapping on like modern beats, and like they were hard. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm listening to these beats and I'm just like, man, this, he going crazy and he rapping. Cause usually it depends. Certain Christian rappers, their beats they would rap on, it wasn't like, I don't know, they were hard, but he brought the modern like sound to it, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that alone made me want to like listen to the other music, you know what I'm saying? Because the main reason I was kind of like, I'm coming out of my shell, I'm growing older, I'm a teenager or whatever. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying, trying to venture out. But I was like, I wanted to kind of stay within the Christian stuff. But then I was like, finally, I was just like, I just want to listen to what I want to listen to. So that's when I started listening to Drake and Migos and like a couple people, and started finding out about certain producers.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, that was around 2015, 16, 17. It was a slow process, because like what I mainly did is I was just listening to a bunch of songs.
Hmm.
Like I was just on Apple Music listening to as many songs I could by as many different rappers, like because I didn't know who was out there. And I was just finding different people like almost every day, just listening to music, listening to songs, finding songs. And like I would, and I even still do this sometimes now, but I would find an artist, and if I like one of their songs, then I would literally listen to every single song on every single album they ever put out.
Yeah.
Every single album. I would listen to every single one of them. And any one of them I liked, I would download it to my phone.
Yep.
Um and I still do that now, but which I know a lot more artists now, so I don't do it as much. But
I gotcha.
from there, I got FL Studio. Um, I got FL Studio, FL Studio 12, FL Studio 12, and I had this HP laptop. It's HP laptop, boy. I had that for a while, but it was my first laptop. I paid for it myself. It was like $250. I had saved up money from drumming
Yep.
for the church, because I only got paid 25 a week.
Okay.
So I had saved up all the way to like $250, and I bought it and it was on sale. It was an HP laptop. It only had like 4 gigs of RAM, but
Gotcha.
I wanted something decent enough to where I could do what I want, because like I was at that time I was also doing like graphics and I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So because the type of person I am, if I want to do something, I just learn how to do it. I don't be like, oh, I can't do this,
Hmm.
or I'm gonna pay someone. Nah, I'm gonna do it myself.
Hmm.
Um, at least I'm gonna try to. But so I was started making beats on that laptop. And yeah, that was a transition. That was a transition, really. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, I mean, I can't help but think, and I don't know if it was a documentary or just some video that I was watching on, I think, Zaytoven. Um, I'm pretty sure also has like a church background. Do you know this at all? Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know that. I know that for sure.
yeah, it's like, did you
Yeah.
around that time, did you ever like kind of, hear his story and be like, oh,
Oh yeah. 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 During that transition time, I told like I was like getting in all this music and stuff. I was also doing a lot of research.
hmm
So like the top producers, like especially him, like I was like looking at interviews they were doing, cook-ups, like I can almost tell you about like the whole story of just like how like the modern trap sound kind of came up just because I was doing so much research and trying to figure out different things. And Zaytoven was definitely part of that, because I saw um his story is really good. He had a really good, powerful story.
hmm
Um and he even still plays for his church, for a church on his church on Sundays,
yep,
and he still makes beats. He made a whole album with Lecrae, what I'm saying, the one who's doing the modern, church. He did a whole album with him. That was hard. So yeah, I know about Zaytoven. I like Zaytoven. He be going crazy on the keys for real.
no doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and then no, obviously, I mean, right, we interact all the time, so I kind of know, but at some point it seems like it got serious, right? I mean, you're in it now, right? You're going hard. And I'm not gonna spoil, some of the latest news, but how do you think you kind of elevated to this point, right? So you have FL, guessing you're practicing, like how did you kind of close that gap till now?
It's been a long time coming. That's what I'm gonna start off by saying. Starting off, my beats were like trash, really trash, really trash. And the only reason they were trash is because I didn't know what I know now. And so, cause like I had so many ideas in my head, and I would do it. But again, also it was a struggle, right? Because I'm new to hip hop. Like I didn't grow up listening to hip hop music. So even that I'm now, at that current phase that I was then listening to it, I still struggled to make it, because I didn't. I mean, I wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, I was making beats like every day, and some of them would be hard, but certain things like in FL, like cutting the 808s and stuff, I didn't know about. So the 808 would just be muddy, and then it would go over, and I knew it was hard, but I knew that it would sound good if only the 808 wasn't muddy, but I just didn't know how. At that time, the tutorials we have now weren't out.
Yeah.
When I was first started making beats,
Mhm.
the tutorials they are now, where they just tell you, oh, do this, cut it up, put sock flipper on, and all this other stuff. I didn't have none of that. It was, what I'm saying, it was a whole different wave. So really, because I mean, it's been a long time from now and then, just day in, day out making beats. And really, I wasn't even focused on the really, the far as like the mixing wise would be good. I just wanted it to sound like the drums and the melody to sound like what was out by artists and rappers. So I started trying to recreate certain beats. Uh, what's that beat? That song by it was a song that blew up by Block Boy JB called "Look Alive," and he had Drake on it.
Mhm.
I want to say that blew up to #1 on the charts. I don't remember, but I
Mhm.
know that blew up Block Boy JB. And it's a simple melody. It's just the piano, the 808, and then it's super simple. Like anybody can recreate it.
Mhm.
And I remember I recreated that, and I uploaded to SoundCloud, and it got so many downloads. Um, oh yeah, that's also a mention. SoundCloud. I was uploading all my beats to SoundCloud, and they're getting downloads. Some of them I deleted for storage reasons, but they were getting downloads. Um, and I was kind of using that as my gauge to see what people like.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? What I put out. And like if you go in there right now and look at all my old beats, they have like it's like all of them have like 100 downloads on it. I think that's the limit. But like they were reaching the downloads limit on SoundCloud. Like no one, like you can't even download it anymore just because they reached the limit.
Gotcha.
My old beats. But honestly, the process was just trial and error. Like I didn't have a community. I didn't have anybody around me. I didn't have anyone to like teach me or show me anything. So
Mhm.
I just try to rely on YouTube and then trial and error. Cause I mean, I watched about near 100,000 tutorials on like one thing: how to make a melody, how to mix, how to do this, and I would try it, and I probably like changed up what I've done, and it's crazy now because now where I'm at, and I realize how simple everything is. It's so much different.
Mhm.
It's so much different, but it was just basically trial and error. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you put in the work. You're still putting in the work, and you know, who am I to say? But I feel like as a result, the exciting news that happened within the last, week or so. So, I don't know. You want to maybe shout that out, kind of, you know, where you're at with the story now?
Yeah, so I recently got my first placement with this local artist in Virginia
Hmm.
named Hunter, OG Hunter on Instagram. Uh which was crazy. Uh crazy that happened. I did the loop. I did the melody. And it was crazy because the guy who used my loop, he didn't even tell me he used my loop.
Hmm.
And he didn't ask for my tag or nothing. So my tag not even on the beat. So because when I first heard the beat, um I was like, hold on. This this sound like my melody. I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on, like, hold on. And then I hit him up, like, hey, bro,
Yep.
you use my loop. And he was like, oh yeah, bro. I didn't want to bother you. So I didn't tell you, which yeah, but I was like, yeah, but we gotta square it away and everything. Me and him chopped it up and like, oh yeah, hey, I can send you some loops or whatever, with the whoop,
Hmm.
or whatever. But yeah, that's my first placement. And she, that's my first placement. And that's a big thing in the producer community to get placements. And I never would have thought that it would have came so early at 2022. Cause I'm thinking it's gonna come like in like maybe near my birthday, like in April or something,
Hmm.
like or mid of the year or something. But the beginning of the year in January, like it's not even it was about to be February, but
Yeah.
it's crazy because I put in all this work over all these years, and I did a lot of doubting and second guessing myself. And to get to this point where like I actually got a placement, like that's it's crazy.
Hmm.
But it just makes me want to go harder. Just makes
Yeah.
me want to go harder.
So it's
You
all
know?
about, put in the work so you can, be ready for those opportunities when your time comes. So, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been kind of seeing how you move, and I'm personally not surprised, but I'm
Yeah.
kind of excited to see where you take everything. And yes, I mean, super dope, man. I think another big thing that it seems like you definitely understand is just kind of networking, right? And I don't want to like, put words in your mouth, right? But I assume, right, that placement kind of came from you, right? Like reaching out to different people, right? Kind of, being connected with different people and, kind of
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
For sure. Like I was telling my boy T Will the other day, I was like, if I had never been tapped in with that community, that would have never happened. That
Mhm.
would have never happened. If I wasn't sending loops and meeting people, that would have never happened. Cause the only reason that even happened is because I became a loop maker and started sending out loops. And the only reason I even started sending out loops was because I was just trying to, try something different. Because mainly what had happened over all the years before this point is when I was making beats, if I would make a good melody and I just didn't know what drums to put on it, I would just leave it. I would just leave the project. Like I have about like it's almost like 300 project file, unsaved, unfinished project files, just
Yeah.
from, and they have good melodies, but I just didn't send them out. I
Yeah.
just left them in there because I'm just like, oh, it's whatever. But also not being in this world, I didn't know about loops like that. Like using loops, it took me a while to realize that people like actually make loops like melodies and then send them out to people. Like, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Like I was just like, oh, everyone making their own melodies. I didn't know everything. But now, and I didn't use loops for the longest time. And now more than ever, I'm using a lot more loops just because they speed up your workflow.
Yep.
I used to be against loops. I was like, nah, I felt like it was cheating. Like you didn't make the melody and you just putting drums on it, so you cheating. But it's not really cheating. It's just, I mean, it speeds up your workflow. Like it's just, makes it faster. So it's aiding you. It's not, what I'm saying, hindering. You can get a lot. I've gotten so starting off in 2022, I've gotten so many more. What was the word? My efficiency of getting beats out has been so much higher in using loops.
Yep.
Like I've been tapped in with my boy Viper, RS Viper, and he send me loops like almost every day. And then I can just make a beat in like 10, 15 minutes and
Yep.
then be done and go to the next. Versus me sitting there trying to make a melody for however long. And see, I already got presets set up now, templates, so I can just drop the melody in there and then just add drums. And I already have everything I want as far as plugins, effects, everything set up in my preset. So it just makes everything so much easier. But
Right.
yeah, like you said, for sure. Um, like I said, if I never even got into that, that would have never came about because there would have been no loop to even for him to even the guy at 910 Mafia Productions. Shout out to him. There would have been no loop for him to even use for the to throw drums on. So yeah, that's definitely.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that seems like a general theme is just, people start at a certain point and just keep chipping away, learning more, and eventually good things happen. It seems like you're definitely on that path, and I think you've already, I mean, as always, right, dropping gems, kind of, I think just telling your story, right, is, I mean, it's great for people to hear, but is there anything that hasn't been brought up so far? Just your story from being a little kid, Tyler, whatever, just banging on the table to getting your first placement. Is there any words of wisdom within then to now that you think would be helpful for somebody else that's either producer just starting off, or it could be like advice you would give to your younger self, right? Any you know additional gems you would want to say?
Yeah, most definitely. One, don't give up, never give up, never quit, never quit. Cause I'm not a quitter. Um, the type of person I am, like I'm going to try to better whatever I'm trying to do, like get better at something. Like if I was a football player or a basketball player, I'm gonna try to be the best at my position.
Mhm.
So like if you're trying to be something or be in a field, try to be the best version of yourself and the best version of whatever you're trying to be, because that's how you can always stay moving forward. Like never get stagnant. Like even now, like, and I'll tell people, and people will tell, and you can ask people about me. They'll tell you my sound, like my loops, different things like are unique. I have my own style, like because I'm always looking for new sounds. Like I'm getting new banks, different kits. Like I have my own go-to drum sounds that I have that I like and I use regularly,
Mhm.
but I still download new kits almost like every day just because I'm always looking for new sounds, new rises, effects, different things. Because I mean, you gotta look at the greats. You gotta look at people like Southside from 808 Mafia, big CEO. Um, him and Lex Luger were one of the two biggest pioneers of like the modern trap sound right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, they started before me. Like they started like, well, Lex started around like 2011, and Southside started like before that. But if you listen to their beats back then, and you listen to their beats now, it's a difference. It's a difference. And it's a reason for that, because they kept evolving their sound. They kept going and pushing the limits and boundaries and kept going. And they kept grinding. So like just keep grinding. Um, find you a community. Find you a community. That's something I wish I had did, because if I had a community I had now back then, I would have been. I would have probably had a placement way back then if I had a community I had now and everything. And do your research. Do your research. There's a lot of, in my opinion, there's the most of the YouTube tutorials are bad on YouTube for like beat making. Like
Gotcha.
for like trap, like other genres, it's whatever, but trap, like, is do your research. Like if you want to learn how to make loops, or if you want to learn how to make certain melodies, I recommend that you go to, or you watch it from a YouTube channel or someone who actually is a loop maker and
Mhm.
specializes. And that's one of my sayings. Don't get something from someone who doesn't specialize in making it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like you wouldn't get Chinese food from Papa John's if they had it. Like they specialize in making pizza. They don't specialize in making Chinese food. Or you wouldn't get
Yeah.
pizza from a Chinese place. Or
Mhm.
you wouldn't get, you know what I'm saying, a Subway sandwich or a sub from Chick-fil-A. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get stuff from the source, get stuff from people who specialize in making it. So if I wanted to make like emotional piano melodies, right? I'm gonna go to someone who they specialize in making that, not just some random person who, because anybody can make, really, I won't say anyone, but a lot of people can make an emotional piano melody, and it may not sound the best, but that's the point. Go to someone who specializes in making it. Go to someone who they're sending those types of loops out to people. Because I know people now. My boy Flex, he gets placements almost every day. He's got placements with Young Boy, Fredo Bang. It's a long list,
Mhm.
but he play the keys. He makes emotional piano melodies, Young Boy type melodies. He goes crazy on the keys. But like if I was on wanting to make a Young Boy melody, I would go to him, because he makes those melodies day in and day out, and he sends them out for placements. He's probably about to have another placement with, probably about to have a placement with either Little Baby, Young Boy, somebody. But go to people who specialize in making it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with drums. Not everybody is good with drums, especially drum bounce. And drum bounce is really, I feel like I feel like me I feel like me being a drummer helped my drum bounce.
Mhm.
I recommend learning an instrument, like any instrument. Just learn, whether it's piano, drums, a flute, ukulele, guitar,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying, a saxophone, or you know what I'm saying, even doing percussion, learning an instrument, because it'll teach you a lot. It'll teach you a lot. Just learning piano, I'm glad that I did learn when I had the foundation when I did, because if I hadn't have that foundation, I would have been even worse off. I would have been even worse off.
Mhm.
And I recommend getting a MIDI keyboard.
Okay.
Definitely getting a MIDI keyboard.
Why is that? Why?
Getting a MIDI keyboard and learning basic music theory, because I say that because I play almost everything in on my keyboard now. Some people, they click stuff in, and that's fine. I used to click stuff in. But not only when it comes to piano, it's more natural when you play it in yourself. And
Mhm.
not even just piano. I play in almost anything, unless if it's something like, if it's something really repetitive, then I might click it in. It depends. But if you get a MIDI keyboard and you actually feel the keys when you playing, the music in, it's it feels so much better.
Gotcha.
It's so much better, and you can get down chord progression ideas much faster by just playing the chords on there rather than clicking notes in on the piano roll or whatever DAW you're using.
Mhm.
Um, honestly, you don't need it, but I believe it's a good investment. It's a good investment. It's a good investment. Learn basic music theory for sure. Learn
Mhm.
basic music theory. Um, learn a scale and just go and run with it. And I recommend A minor. Um, my favorite, because it's the easiest, is all the white notes, but you start from A, just A minor, and then learn A minor. It's literally all the white notes, but you start from A on the keyboard. Learn A minor, and then make your melodies in A minor, and then just transpose or just pitch it up to a different key if you want to sound different, or if you want to learn a new key, you can learn a different key. Uh, definitely don't overcomplicate don't overcomplicate your music, and go by feeling. Go by feeling.
Mhm.
Go by feeling. I will not even render a beat out if I'm not feeling it. If I don't feel the drums, I'm gonna scrap the drums. Not feeling the melody, I'm just gonna scrap the melody. I'm gonna stop. Just pause. Like it's almost like a feeling like if you walk in somewhere and you're like, something don't feel right. I'm not supposed to be here.
Mhm.
It's sort of like that. Like I don't even
Instinct.
don't even keep going.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't even keep going. You're like, oh no, I really want to make this beat. Nah. It's
Mhm.
not right now, bro. You ain't feeling it, bro. Just take a break. Go watch you some Netflix, chill, go out somewhere, watch a movie, play some game, do something. Come back. You feel inspired, or watch you a video. I will watch producers. If I was feeling inspired, all I do is watch Metro Boomin, Lex Luger, some Zaytoven, somebody, and I would instantly be like, "Oh, I'm trying to make a beat because I'm feeling it."
Yeah.
Because from
Yep.
them, they
Mhm.
put that feeling in me,
Yep.
and so what I'm saying, don't force any music, especially with loops. Especially with loops, like if you want to make loops, don't force it. Because if you don't feel it, how are you gonna expect the music to sound good?
Mhm.
Because music is all about feeling. So if you don't feel the music, then the music not gonna sound good because it's coming from you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The music ain't creating itself. You the one creating it. So if you're not feeling the music, you you might as well. I mean, just leave it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just feeling, and don't definitely get feedback. Get feedback. Get feedback. But also uh as you curate your own sound, know yourself, and learn to be able to be a good judger of your own work. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, don't get too caught up in what other people say, but at the same time, you want to have a group of people around you who you trust,
Mhm.
who you're know going to be honest about your work, right?
Yep.
You don't want yes men telling you, yeah, bro, this hard and it's trash. No, you don't want that. Because they're just making you look bad. They don't really care about you if they do that. We know this.
Mhm.
So that's one thing I wish I did was less self-doubting. Because no one knew me for a long time. No one knew my beats. No one even knew who I was as
Mhm.
a brand.
Yep.
Because as a producer, you're building a brand. People, hey, I'm such and such, and these are my beats. This is what I put out.
Mhm.
If you want some, then come get some. But no one knew who I was. And, I had a SoundCloud presence, but other than that, no one, the producers didn't know who I was. I didn't really know other producers. I knew the top producers, but I wasn't tapped in. So definitely, like I said before, get you a community, find you a community, tap in, lock in with people, try to grow, build, foster genuine relationships. Don't try to get over on anybody. Because it's not gonna work in the long run.
Mhm.
You got people trying to steal loops and steal stuff, put their name on it. It won't matter in the long run, because even if you get somewhere and then someone asks you for something and you're not gonna be able to provide it because you're not even the originator, then they're gonna realize you're a fraud. And then you're gonna get blacklisted. And you know what I'm saying? Your reputation at that point is non-existent. So you just hurt yourself. You hurt your whole
Right.
career.
Right.
So just be real, be genuine, and you gotta want this. You gotta want this. Like you can't be playing about this, because for the longest time I was like, oh nah, this is just a hobby. It's just a hobby. But then at the same time, I'm over here spending hundreds of dollars on music equipment. And so I'm like, is this really a hobby? And of course, yeah, you can spend money on hobbies, right?
Mhm.
But I was in denial that this was my passion, because like I said, ever since the beginning, I just love music, just the way it makes people feel. Just, you can make people happy, you can make people sad, you can make people feel any type of way you want, just with music.
Mhm.
You don't even have to say anything. You just play, just press play. And
Yep.
then the whole mood and atmosphere changes. Stadiums, crowds, weddings, churches, cars, you name it. It's music make people cry. Songs remind them of somebody. Like, name something more powerful than that, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. You
You
know.
can about change the world
Yep.
with music.
Right. All through your expression, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah, I could go on, but honestly,
mhm.
you just have to, if you really stay focused, because I met people recently who've only been producing about like 2-3 years, and they're like so good. They're really good.
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, I've been producing for such and such, but it's a reason why. It's a reason why I wasn't at the stage at they are in now, when at the same amount of time, because of so many other things. But I'm just like, man, you can do it if you really want to. You gotta really want it. You gotta really want it. And I'm here for anybody who, because it's a process. It's a process. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely. And hopefully everybody, on the Crown server, wherever, they see the video and they understand, just like you do every day in the Crown server, right? I mean, you're here to help, right? Spread that knowledge, give feedback, be somebody that other music creators can kind of go to and trust that any feedback you give is just kind of in their interest, right? To kind of help them out and help them develop. So I'm definitely thankful that we did that beat breakdown in the beginning, and that I've kind of gotten to get to know you and just work, and all the feedback and wisdom you give me, right? Just learning the space and how things work. You know Definitely super hyped to see where you take it, and I'm glad after however long it's been, right? We finally got this interview done. It was great to hear this.
yeah,
I mean, it all falls into place now, right? It like makes sense. I get it. So
yeah, man. I appreciate you having me. I really thought we already did an interview, but
Yeah,
we didn't.
yeah, man.
But
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
assume it
man.
won't be a last either. So yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
yep, yeah. Well, thank you, and I mean, yeah, I'll talk to you probably right after this.
All right. Yeah.
All right.